Hello, many people will probably know me, but I will introduce myself. I'm Alan Alderson. I was born at Barras farm here where I still am. I've had my own sheep, tup shearlings, probably since I was 9, 10, 11 years old. So it was always a thing that I was just loving to do, was breed Swaledale sheep. I'm doing so today, and hopefully will do while I've got breath in my lungs. Well, my father was a keen Swaledale breeder, but never really aspired to produce top tups. But he bred good ewes, and he would always be in the top 2 or 3 prices at draft ewe sale at Kirby Stephen, and that was one of the points that he always said: look after the commercial side of your animal. Make sure that it's fit for purpose, it's good mouth, good wearing qualities, and what I still believe, a fleece on it that fills the hand well. Very proudest moment was to win Tan Hill overall championship with a Gimmer hog, and I believe it was the first time, I think if I remember rightly, it was the first time that I ever took a sheep to Tan Hill, but I did think it was quite outstanding. It was by a Maurice Metcalf tup, and out of you by a Mosdale tup that I bought as an old tupping horse from Dennis Thornborough. But the other moment was when I sold a record-breaking tup or two, and I was probably rose to the top too early, because I've never managed to do the same again. But it was a very, very proud moment, and things that I'll never forget in my life. Well, there were one or two, but the one I most admired, because of his breeding and because of the man himself, was my Uncle Ernest Whitehead at East Stonesdale. A very good breeder of Swaledale sheep. He was a very quiet, assuming man. Didn't push his thoughts about other people's sheep, and if he was asked a question, it would always be a positive and never a negative. That was one thing that I was always taught as young. If you hadn't anything good to say about something, don't say anything at all. It is a long time ago. I would probably be in me 18, probably 17, 18 years old. And there was a man in Swaledale at a small flock at this point, and we all knew him as Jack at Butthouse. He had these 2 tup shearlings, 2 good tups, and I just fell in love with one of them. Immediately I saw him at the sales at Hawes. Dennis Thornborough bought him. I'm fairly sure it was Dennis Thornborough bought him. And he was only about £320, which sounds absolutely nothing at the moment, but my father would never ever had given more than £80 for a tup, and we were last losser at him. Two sheep to that tup. Dennis very kindly took them to the tup, and bred me assure you that actually won the large breeders ewe class at Stayner Show one year. So that was one. I can still see that tup, and I believe the brother to him that sold that, they're still in a photograph of him, still in the Farmer's Arms in Muka. There was one really outstanding tup. It was Mosdale Terminator. He was big and well built. A nice shoulder on him, but not a flat shoulder. And he was this big, powerful tup whose muzzle was literally filled the middle of your hand. He had such a big nose end as he got older. Great big powerful tup. He was bought after foot and mouth, well, at the time when there was no movement, and I also got a few yows from Mosdale, and I bought half share in this tup, and I think there's nothing wrong with saying I paid 15,000 for half share in him, but he was an absolutely outstanding animal, which I think a lot of members are trying to move to the same shape and size of him at this very time. Well, both my grandparents on each side were involved with the association, but never in any official capacities. They were, within a year or two of their formation, they were members of and bred registered Swaledale sheep. My advice would be to go with what you like yourself, but always keep it in mind that if you follow a fashion, you're not always going to be there at the right time. If you try to be in a fashion, try to breed a good type of sheep that others will want to buy, that's, as you've heard me say before, long livers. It'll do well when they leave home to breed on other farms. just one person I'd like to mention is Harry Tunstall. Harry Tunstall, I bought a tup half share with Harry Tunstall when I first started. My father died quite young and I was only 22 and a little bit short of confidence. And I saw Harry looking at this tup that I was admiring, and I asked him could I have half share. And the bit of advice that I would add to it is we went into the auction mart to try and buy the tup, and just before the sale I said to him, how much do you think he'll cost? How much will we have to pay, Harry? Harry just looked at me and quietly said, Alan, just go and pay as much as you can afford and that'll be fine by me. As most people I'll know close to me, I'm not really a holiday person, but I do enjoy a few days in the Highlands of Scotland, visiting some of the islands as well as the Highlands, and generally looking at what people breed up there, and if they've crossbred, seeing the Swaledale crossed with the blackies. My favourite place to go to eat at the moment is the Chippy in Hawes, North Yorkshire. The fish is the best fish you could buy in the British Isles, I'm sure, and the chips are I just love the fish and chips at Hawes. The other one I must mention is the Swaledale lamb pie that the fish and chip shop at Middleton in Teesdale sells, and believe it or not, last year it was Pie of the Year of all the pies in the country. It won the Supreme Championship. Yeah, well that's an easy one. Rock and Roll and the Rolling Stones. I have heard them live, and it all was over far too soon. I just absolutely loved it. This was a difficult one to answer. I think I would have to say it was the first date I ever had. It was a girlfriend at school, would only be 15 and 14. We went down to the roundabouts and coconut shies and so forth as it was then, and had a good time, and I walked her back home up to Westgarth Road, and believe it or not, that was when I had my first kiss, so that's the way I'd expect. I would think that was the best date I had for a start. Starting out with Swaledale sheep, you are doing the very right thing, because it is the breed that I still admire greatly in lambing time. You can be lambing out at 1600 foot, and the Swaledale ewe will be looking after its lamb, getting it fed, milked, and in shelter. Just an amazing sheep to farm. It will give you pleasure and pain just occasionally, but like many animals, if you look after them well, breed the sheep that you like, and then you should have success come along.